Hi everybody, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra! I have something cool today! I got a call from my FFL, Jonathan and Dana Bloom here at Refiners Firearms. That's where we are here in Anthem, hanging out at their shop. And why? Because I have something really cool here. I haven't even seen it yet. This is an unboxing. I'm gonna tell you all about it in a second. Cool gun.
Throwing targets are lightweight, weatherproof, take thousands of rounds of shooting and make shooting fun. Pick up a set for your next range trip.
So straight up, I'm gonna tell a little story here. You're gonna have to bear with me. I'm gonna unbox this guy in just a second. But here's the story. You all know probably Ernest Langdon from Langdon Tactical. You have seen him on the channel. Natalie, the Range Monkey, carries a PX4 compact carry and LTT. And love the work he does. He's the traditional double action apostle. And he was having a hard time, real hard time last year, getting Beretta 92s in to do his job and do his stuff and run his business. And he started carrying a Glock and working on Glocks, trying to build LTT. And I wouldn't deign to the arrogance of calling myself Ernest's friend. I would call him a good, strong acquaintance who I like a lot. His wife, Amy, same thing. Love those folks. Really good people. And I was like, Ernest, why are you not carrying a P30? If you're not going to carry a Beretta 92, why are you not carrying a double action, a traditional double action P30? And he's like, man, we got to get stuff figured out with them. And I haven't been able to get parts and all that stuff. And I was like, what? So I threw a couple fits, quite frankly. I stomped my feet a little bit and called the good people at HK USA. And it took a while to get everything together, but they made it happen. You might have seen, I saw this morning, in fact. So I got a message yesterday from my FFL, hey, you have a gun inbound. And I was like, what? And then I got a text from Amy, hey, there's something on the way for you. And then this morning I saw their video drop of their new P30s. And this is one of them. I can tell because it has my name on it and it says P30 LEM V1 on the side. So this, I think, is the very first P30 LEM LTT, Elite P30 LEM in the wild. Why do I think it's the first one in the wild? Well, unless they sent some off pre-order to other people, it was just available this morning on their website, and I don't think you could have gotten it sooner because they don't do retail sales. So I think this is the very first one ever in the wild. It's got that new gun smell. Oh, it's delightful. I wonder which one they sent me. I wonder how it is. Let's look. I don't know anything about this gun. I have not been in on this. I could tell you I know that Neil Widener has been talking to Amy Langdon about this extensively. So this is my first look-sees. So I'm going to make you wait while I take my first look. Oh, very nice. It says, John, your friends love you. LTT and Neil Widener. Oh, look at this. Boy, look at this. Okay, friends. So it has the RDO package from Langdon on it. So guess what? I'm going to have to buy a dot. I need another green dot. The thing I love about this is that this is the universal adapter plate. And you can basically mount any dot to this plate whatsoever. Blacked out suppressor height sights. LEM trigger, flat trigger. Now I know for a fact what this trigger is. This trigger is the Gray Guns flat face, and it has the Gray Guns short reset in it. So this is gonna be pretty good. Also pretty cool. I'll be cautious with this, but you can see it's got the LTT logo on it, which is pretty baller. Beautiful, beautiful looking gun. Let's get a feel. Let's verify. Yeah, gun is empty, gun is empty. Let's get a feel. Okay. I want to feel that reset. You gotta love Bruce Gray. Wow. Okay. Bit of push back to the wall. Actually, kind of like that, actually. So you see, it gets right to 90 degrees and breaks at 90 and no over travel whatsoever. Reset to there, to the wall. Ooh. Can't be more than 5 rounds. Oh man, I want to put a dot on this guy and then go run him for a little while. What a beautiful piece. Full disclosure, obviously Neil and worked this one out, and Ernest and Amy and the staff there at LTT sent me this gun. So I didn't pay for it. I do love my P30. And the one that I'm carrying, Theseus, my everyday carry gun's got around 36,000 rounds down the pipe right now and is due for some serious maintenance. And it's actually a little bit of rust on the slide. And so I'm gonna send him in for a little bit of love and work on this guy some. Super cool gun. Thank you so much to the staff, to John and Dana at Refiners for putting up with me and making this happen overnight, and more to come as I shoot this bad boy. Okay, so time for some shots, some more shooting through this this LTT Elite P30 LEM. I put the dot on it and all that stuff, got the dot zeroed. I'm just gonna run, I got 100 rounds. I'm gonna run 100 rounds through it, see what it does. Just got a couple here. Well, that'll be the end of it. Just want to get a feel for this trigger a little bit here. Huh. Okay. It's amazing to me the difference in feel of the recoil of the gun with this brand new recoil spring. So I still got Theseus on here, my my carry gun, my P30. This gun has about 38,000 rounds through it. I just need to feel what I'm used to for a minute here. See if it's as different as I'm thinking it is. Yeah, I mean, it's took me a minute to get used to the difference. Flat face trigger, very different. Not bad, just different. Not bad. I'll say I was a little worried about the difference in the length of the trigger reset. It's not a difference at all. Me. Okay. Had to correct. Didn't have the support hand on it that I wanted. Totally fine there. Okay, had to correct the dot there. Gun's performing. So first 125 or 150 rounds down through the pipe. What do I think so far? I really like this gun. I think that as a kind of semi-custom gun, it really has a cool place, and it's worth really considering if you were thinking about getting into the P30 game, specifically the LEM. Now, let's talk a little bit about this trigger. Ernest Guest, he just threw a shot in the dark and put the medium springs in this guy for me. I think I'm gonna ask him to change that actually to either the medium light or the, either the light or the extra light. I'm not sure which one yet. I'm gonna talk that through with him. Right now, as this guy sits, it's definitely an improvement over the stock trigger. It's not quite like crazy full custom like you get from Rick Holm at Lazy Wolf or Bruce Gray guns. It's good though, and it's drop in and it's ready. I mean, you don't have to send it off to them for forever. So You know, you put it on the gauges, and this guy here in single action, and again, this is LEM, right? So LEM is not a double action, single action gun. It's a single action, double action gun. It almost always, or it should always run in single action with the safety of the hammer in there. With the flat trigger, you can kind of see there where that goes. Bang, you got right about a 5-pound trigger. So if you want a trigger that feels like the trigger that you're used to from a striker gun in terms of its drop weight, you know, 5.5 pounds, I think this is a good choice. I'm used to a little lighter than that. We also see here, I want you to see how short the reset is here. So I reset that, that's all that takes. It's just a tiny bit of reset there, and then bang, the gun goes bang again. So I'm gonna show you that and show you the hammer a little bit so you can see that's all the movement on the hammer. And then again, you're gonna see tiny bit of take up to the wall. So just a little take up here, and then a full drop and almost no over travel. Kind of the thing that I like about the flat trigger is you can see it stays flat the whole time. So you've got that. Let me show you in comparison to a stock. Now this is a stock P30 LEM, at least it's stock internally. I've had the Right Armory IDOT put on it. And again, what you can see here is that we get the long take up, but I don't think on the LEM the long take up matters at all because it's so light. It's literally a couple of pounds, you don't even feel it. And then you get right to this wall, which is what you don't get with a any kind of revolver or something like that. Now this particular one here, bang, it drops right about the same, about 5 pounds. Within a couple of ounces depending on the gauge. But then look at the reset here on the stock. So the reset comes all the way out to there, all the way back, you know, not terrible, and then drops again. One more time on the stock, resets a little long. And what I find on the stock gun with the reset is that if I'm running the gun at speed, every once in a while I'll get trigger freeze because I don't reset the gun all the way out, which the gun from Ernest solves. It's a much shorter reset. Now it's not quite a full custom gun like Theseus here. I mean, again, this is the last gun that Robar ever made before they went out of business. But this gun's like over twice as expensive, right? So all the MP3, all the internals have been coated by MP3. It's had a custom trigger job by Rick Holm at Lazy Wolf. So each individual part fitted, you know, the texture job and all that stuff. And this guy here, first of all, 38,000 rounds down the pipe, right? Same thing here, and you get a crisp break right at 4 pounds, or maybe 4 pounds, a couple of ounces. Then with Rick, the beauty of Rick's triggers is that's all the reset you need. And that's stupid. I gotta tell you, that's stupid. Click. Now, again, that's all the reset it needs. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I was running my Langdon gun here at speed at C2, and not at crazy speed, but you know, letting the gun reset under recoil. I certainly couldn't feel any difference, was able to come right back to the wall without feeling it any better. I mean, from an objective sense, a hand fit, custom fit trigger is going to make a significant difference in the gun. It just is, but you're talking a significant difference in cost too, right? So this gun to put together total was like $3,000, and that's crazy for most people to consider, and I get that. Now, another challenge some people might face here is you can see the flat trigger sits far forward, right? So when I am at rest here, that's a pretty far forward trigger that does have, because it does have to cock the hammer, right? So that's part of what it has to do, is to cock the hammer as it goes back. So it does that because it's got both a trigger spring and a hammer spring. So there's two forces at play here. So it's very light, but it's a little long. So now I have size XL palms and size large fingers. So with large grips on this gun, I don't have any problem at all getting my finger on the trigger. So I am from here in my register spot, my finger comes right on there and gets it no problem, and I'm not worried about being over it or anything like that or having any hard time. If you have short fingers, this may not be best for you. Because I think comparing apples and apples, I think that kind of the bottom of the trigger is probably at the same spot, but you get that kind of middle of the trigger that it bows back and gives you a little bit different. So if I had shorter fingers, reaching that middle spot would be a little bit easier if you had a little shorter fingers. So I'm not positive about that for people with small hands. I do really like the sights, the backup sights that they put on. In particular, I really love that that the rear sight here, which is on their proprietary rail, you know, it's their mount system, is kind of triangle shaped, right? So you can see it's pyramid shaped, and so that just fills a little bit less of the windows. It's also very low, and with a blacked out front sight, I think that's a great choice because it lets me see as much through the window as I can. It's unobtrusive, but if I, for some reason, had a problem with my optic in the middle of a gunfight, shouldn't, because I'm mounting a good optic and it's well vetted, but God forbid, I've got those sights that are visible but are unobtrusive for the most part when I'm doing. I like it. Let's talk cost for a minute. The basic here, if you don't do the dot on it, if you don't do the dot mounting system, is a little under $1,000. As it sits right here, it's a $1,400 gun plus the optic. Okay, so I had to go source the optics. So for me, all things considered on this gun, it's about an $1,800 gun. That's a lot. I mean, because I put the Holosun 507 on it, as opposed to, say, if you do put a Trigicon SRO on it, now you're looking at around $2,000. That's a lot. But you get a lot for that, right? So as opposed to Theseus, it's significantly cheaper than that. It's kind of a semi-custom gun, right? It's not a full boat custom. It's not, hey, I built this just for you exactly the way according to your specs. It's what kind of trigger weight do you want? Because you can get that in heavy, in medium, in light, and in extra light. Like I told you, I'm going either light or extra light. Probably light is where I'm going to go. And I think it's good. I think, you know, that trigger is really quite usable. Even in the medium configuration, it's just fine. It's P30. I love the ergonomics on the P30. And as far as cost goes, bought this gun, you know, stock from HK or stock from a dealer, just regular, you're talking about probably $700 at retail. Then to have a milling done for this gun and an optics plate put on it from Right Armory's the only one I know who does it, their IDOT system, which includes then Cerakoting the slide and those things, about $450. So now you'd be talking about $1,150. And so you're talking about $250 for the trigger job with the flat trigger. And if you go buy just the piece, the flat trigger on the Gray Guns website, I think it's $90. So you're talking $150 for Ernest Langdon to put his trigger job in here, which is a really good trigger job. That's reasonable to me. I think it ends up being a lot of money. So if you're like, dude, I can't afford that kind of money, well, then this gun's out of your reach. But the other part that's cool about it is that it shows up to you in this condition, right? So you got to put the optic on it, right? But you don't have to do what I've done, which is take a gun, take it over and get it milled, go and have the trigger job and send it off for a long time. I mean, Rick is busy. If you go to Rick Holm at Lazy Wolf, it could take you a couple months to get your gun back because he's just got a line of guns and it's him at his tabletop. Send it to Bruce Gray at Gray Guns. It's going to be a couple months. They're a busy shop, whereas you can just pick this up right now. Now, I don't have any financial relationship with Ernest, so I'm not making any money if you do. And I'm not, you know, that's not who I am, but I think it's a good option. I do love my P30, and this one is a nice gun.